Hello everyone, it's Friday. It's Insta Live on Fry, and this is Audrey Button from Safe Harbors of the Finger Lakes. So it's the last Friday of August. Can't believe it's already almost September. So before we get started, if you haven't checked out September's schedule yet, be sure to check it out. We did post it, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before that we posted it. So just a quick note on September's schedule. It's important to note that it is Suicide Prevention Month, and it's also Self-Care Awareness Month. So we've incorporated those things into our topics for next month, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. And so today we'll be talking about child advocacy and the importance of child advocacy. And before I kind of get started, I just want to go over a quick couple things. So I just like to give a content warning because the views, the things that I'll be discussing might be really sensitive to some people. So please take care of yourself however you need to. And then, of course, a disclaimer, the views and opinions expressed in this video are not necessarily those of Safe Harbors of the Finger Lakes, but of those in the video. And so today we are going to interview a child advocacy specialist, but they were not able to be here at this time, so they answered the questions ahead of time. So I'm just going to state what the question was and her answer to these questions, as she is the expert herself in child advocacy. So I'll go ahead and get started. So I had asked, so her name's Amber. Amber was going to join us today, but she had something come up. So thankfully, she was able to send these answers to these questions along so we can learn a little bit more about child advocacy and why it's so important, okay? So I asked her what the Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is. Most people don't know what it is. They've never heard of it. So the Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes, they are located in the 3-county area that we also serve, so Ontario, Seneca, and Yates counties. They are also associated with us. We provide advocates there at the CAC. So Amber, stated that the Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is, a nonprofit organization, and they take the role as a lead agency that coordinates, integrates, and facilitates a multidisciplinary team of professionals and provides the physical space where cases of child sexual and physical abuse, so they can interview and investigate there. So, and whenever possible and practical, so obviously it's nice when they can all be in the same place. These cases are investigated, evaluated, and treated all in the same place. So, this multidisciplinary team, or also known as MDT, is a collaborative, inclusive, and team-oriented infrastructure whose primary focus is children and their families. Comprehensive services are provided by the MDT in one safe, child-friendly location. Each staff member at the CAC and our other partner agencies has the primary goal of providing the best services possible to families and children who are afflicted by sexual and physical abuse. And you can obviously find more information about specifically the CAC of the Finger Lakes by going to their website. And you can find information about them on our website as well, but the CAC's website is CACFinger, FINGER, Lakes, LAKES.org. And they have lots of great stuff on there, so make sure you check it out if you want to learn a little bit more about them. And then I asked her, what is your role at the Child Advocacy Center, specifically as a child advocate? So, and this is according to Amber, so as the child advocacy specialist, I work for Safe Harbors of the Finger Lakes, but I'm also co-located at the Child Advocacy Center. My role is to provide support and services to children and their non-offending caregiver, who then come to the Child Advocacy Center. So when a child comes in for a forensic interview, I greet them at the door and bring them into a waiting area. I go over the process about what is going to happen while they're at the CAC, excuse me, and answer any questions that they might have. So while the child is talking to the interviewer, I stay with the non-offending caregiver and provide services and information. I can also assist them with referrals for counseling, forensic medical appointments, assist with custody petitions, orders of protections, and help be a liaison between law enforcement and child protective services who are also involved normally in these forensic interviews and many other services. I could also provide long-term support after the interview to assist the family through the next steps during the healing process. and the services that they provide are also listed on their website. So why is the Child Advocacy Center so important? So the Child Advocacy Center is important because it facilitates that child abuse investigations in a collaborative and child-friendly environment to minimize further trauma to the child. So oftentimes you'll see in the CAC, it's decorated, there's, toys, coloring books available, it's comfortable. There's really cool artwork on the wall. It's just meant to be a safer and more comfortable environment. So the vision is child-focused center that facilitates a compassionate, multidisciplinary approach to the treatment of child abuse so that child victims of alleged sexual and physical abuse can feel safe and will be provided the support to enable their healing process. So we kind of already went over this, but who else is involved at, the Child Advocacy Center in the process of these forensic interviews? So there's, like we talked about, the multidisciplinary team. They work alongside the Child Advocacy Center specifically to provide services to the families. This includes law enforcement, child protective services, school social workers, therapists, so the county district attorney or assistant district attorneys, possibly looking at these cases, advocates from Safe Harbors of the Finger Lakes as well. So what does a forensic interview look like at the Child Advocacy Center? So a forensic interview happens when there's a disclosure of a child physical or sexual abuse. So then the law enforcement has an investigator there, or CPS, so Child Protective Services, will contact the Child Advocacy Center to set up a time for a forensic interview to take place. The multidisciplinary team will meet prior to the interview in order to go over the case and share any information that is needed. Once the child and non-offending caregiver arrives, the advocate will greet them at the door and usually bring them into the waiting area. So the advocate will explain what's going on and answer any questions that the non-offending caregiver may have or the child may have, or children. Sometimes there's more than one child involved in these cases. When the child or children are ready, the advocate will let the forensic interviewer know, and the forensic interviewer will come out to greet the child and bring them back to the room where they will talk together in a room that's private, comfortable for them, since, it's a little scary going through all that and, a new place and new faces. So it's trying to make them feel as safe and comfortable as possible. So the multidisciplinary team are in a different room where they can see and hear everything that is going on with the forensic interviewer and the child. And this team meets for a post-interview to go over the next step before the child leaves and make sure that the child and the non-offending caregiver have whatever resources or information that they need going forward. So thank you so much, Amber, for sharing that all with us. So it's kind of a lot, but it kind of goes the basics of the Child Advocacy Center and forensic interviews for children. Basically overall, it's just making sure that they have a safe and comfortable space to be into when they're discussing these things that, the alleged sexual or physical abuse that had happened to them, and also doing it so they don't have to repeat themselves many times. Because if all these, advocacy, like our advocates, law enforcement, CPS, and everyone's all in that one space and they're seeing it and hearing it all at the same time, that's hopefully going to prevent the child from having to reshare their story multiple times. And that's very trauma, informed approach to things, because we want them on the path to healing. So with that, if you have any questions or further questions specifically about the Child Advocacy Center, or just, child advocacy or anything like that related to our services, feel free to reach out. You can always also check out our website, which is www.shflny.org, and our 24-hour hotline is 800-247-7273. And again, the CACs are specifically the Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes website. Again, is CACFINGERLAKES.org. And so they have lots of great information about their program there as well. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend, and make sure you check out our schedule for next month. And so I'll see you next Friday for the first Friday of September. So thank you. Have a good one.